Greetings and welcome back to Maestropia. In this video, we're going to talk about how to improve yourself as a musician. The things that I cover with any student that I'm working with. And here's a little snapshot of it. The musical categories to improve upon. So really the short story here is that you have to have a plan and a strategy, both short-term and long-term, if you want to progress and succeed. So if you follow this roadmap and follow these topics that I know from my experience with Marine bands and other countless Marine musicians and all kinds of musicians, if you sort of follow this formula that I'm going to give to you and apply it to searching for things online or even using the exact resources that I give you, then you're going to be successful in the months and years to come. All right, so let's start again here with this musical categories. So we're just going to walk through these really quickly, and then if you have any questions or confusions about anything I covered, you can, put a comment below and let me know what you need me to expand upon and fill in the blanks for you later. All the links that I cover in this video, I'm going to include in the description. So if you see any of these websites or links and you're thinking, oh yeah, that's definitely for me, something I want to check out, then just go into the description of this video and you can click on that and pull it up directly. Before we cover all these different areas to focus on, the idea is that, some people work on just learning music by ear, and some learn by reading sheet music, and other people nowadays, especially with the internet and all the new technologies and videos that are online, some people like to learn just visually and just watch what somebody's hands are doing on the piano, or how they're hitting the drums on the drum or whatever instrument. It doesn't matter. There's different ways you can learn, and they're all good, and they all have pros and cons in their own ways. But what I learned from many years of working with Marine musicians and following the sort of standard protocol that they would use to train other musicians, and how teachers would go about it, and how I learned, how I practiced, that's where I came up with this framework. So you can basically, if you want to be a sort of full circle musician, as I'd like to call it, and just be able to do everything, or at least be working to improve on everything, these are the areas that you're going to want to focus on. The first one, technique exercises or warm-ups. Those are both kind of in the same category, so I'm trying to explain in different ways. 2, scales. So for, piano, flute, bassoon, tuba, any instrument that plays notes, you're going to want to learn scales. If you're a percussionist, the equivalent for that is rudiments, where you're learning sticking patterns. Next, music theory. If you want to be able to read sheet music and understand what's on the page and actually make music out of it, maybe you're starting from scratch, maybe you learned a little bit a long time ago, that's music theory. And that's one of those sort of areas of knowledge that some people try to skip over completely. But if you do that, you're going to be missing out on some opportunities and just a better understanding that's going to open up more doors for you musically. Number 4 is ear training. And I put and eyes in there because, again, people will learn visually, especially nowadays, by the use of video. Ear training, that can... way I can describe that is not just like hearing a note and saying, oh, that's a C, that's an A. Not necessarily that, or having perfect pitch. That would be the far extreme. But for ear training, I'm also talking about listening to somebody else play, maybe learning a little bit of a song, and then not just playing the notes, but trying to match the exact feel of how they perform it. So that takes training your ears and, of course, your fingers and possibly feet too, whatever you need to do to play your instrument. But learning how to match those little tiny intricacies, is that the right word? So you can match what the person is doing, not just the notes, but the volume, the feel of it, the style. There's a whole bunch of things that we could go into there. Number 5, sight reading. That has to do with, so now we're back to talking about sheet music, reading sheet music. And sight reading is specifically talking about seeing something for the first time. So it could be a very basic song, but if I was to put a piece of music in front of you and say, okay, look at this for about a minute or two and then play it for me, that would be sight reading. Being able to read and play something you've never seen before. And then the last one, prepared pieces and performance, all kind of lumped into the same thing. Prepared pieces meaning picking a song online that you want to learn, using whatever resources in your arsenal online to find and figure out the song and learn it. Spend all that time preparing it, preparing your piece, your song, and then being able to perform it. So obviously performance is the final stage. If there's like 10 steps that lead up to it, that would be number 10, where you've spent all the time on the song, you've learned it, you know it frontwards, backwards, probably at that point. You probably don't even need the sheet music anymore if you had the sheet music. And that would be the final step in that category. So, we could make as many categories out of this as we want, but I felt like these 6 different categories were kind of the main areas that, like I said, encompass a full circle musician. And if you work on all of these things, even just a little bit, and you bounce around and keep doing it, you are absolutely going to improve and become a better musician with every passing day, week, and month. Okay, so now let me show you some different visual things here. So now this is an example of lesson notes from one of my students that I've been teaching for a long time. And I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So those categories that I was just talking about, here's technique. These YouTube links in here are links from videos that I've made, but they don't have to be videos that I've done on Maestropia. We got some piano exercises in here. This is another piano exercise. This is another exercise, chord inversions, and another exercise, but this is a little bit more theory oriented. And then, oh, hey, look, it's our next category, scales. So he's got some scales on here, and then all the notes that go along with it. There could be a video here. There's videos for just about everything on YouTube. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. Music theory, we'll come back to that later. Not everybody is always going to want to work on all of these, different things. But actually this person is doing a lot of theory. This is more talking about the book that I recommended, and he has a couple books anyway. Sight reading. This is a book that we use for sight reading, the FastTrack keyboard book by Hal Leonard. We're going to talk about that briefly. And then here's his prepared pieces, Right Now by Van Halen and Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. I love these 2 choices because they're so different. And that's another thing that's important I didn't talk about, is just learning different styles of music really rounds out your musicianship. So that is the overview of how I do lesson notes for my students. And hey, if you're a teacher, you can steal what I'm doing and remake it on your own and use this format. It works really great for teaching. Back to over here. So let me just show you. So here's, an example of there's 6 exercises in this video we did, 6 piano exercises, and there we go. It works great for warm-ups, or just, getting all 10 of your fingers moving on the piano and being able to control them individually as you need. We got another exercise here exercise video for the drums, where I'm showing a up, top, down, low exercise to be practiced on the drum set. And, there's a bunch of exercises in here that do the same thing for the drums. Again, you can find that for any instrument online that you want to. It just takes a little bit of searching. I'm not showing any for scales right now, but obviously we could find videos for scales. Going on to music theory. Now, this is the book I always try to get piano players to use, the Edna May Burnham Theory Papers. There's actually book 1, 2, and 3. But this is great for any musician because you learn both the treble and bass clef. You learn all kinds of musical terms and, the different lengths of beats and all that kind of stuff. So this is a great book with just simple little homework assignments that you can do anytime you want and keep progressing through it to learn how to read sheet music. So I wanted to mention that. Going on, back to the ear training. So like I said, you can, pick any of the videos that I did. Mine are mostly piano and drums, although there is some guitar and ukulele on there. But all you gotta do is go on YouTube or another site that, has videos of musicians teaching things. And, I just typed in Moonlight Sonata. That's one of the songs that is on the Maestropia channel. But, if you type in the song name of something you want to learn, then boom, it's going to pull up all these different options or suggestions. Or you can just type in your own, piano tutorial, for example. Tutorial meaning somebody's going to show you how to play it, hopefully. And then look, all these more examples of videos. Here's a visual one. If you can learn by just watching the keys light up, that's a popular version. Of course, that's not music theory related. That's just visual. And that's kind of, one of the newer styles of teaching that's gotten popular over the years. Because if we flip through all these different videos on here, which as you can see, there's a lot of them, you're going to find 100,000 different ways, depending on how popular a song is, of how to learn the song. But if you take 5-10 minutes and start, flipping through a few minutes of each of these, maybe narrow down your search terms even more, then you'll probably be able to find something that you really like and something that you can learn from. Okay, so that's how you sort of self-teach yourself, but it's not self-teaching, you're learning from other people. But what I'm saying is self-teach without actually stepping foot in a classroom or even having, a teacher one-on-one. Even though my disclaimer, of course, that's always better to do it that way. And then here's another, this is music theory related, but these books are really great for sight reading also. These are all books that I use for teaching other students. And so just an example, I really love the Hal Leonard's FastTrack series with all of these books, because I just think they do a really good job of making it simple from, starting from square one. And if you see a book with the title or saxophone 1, guitar 1, if you see a 1 in the title, that means it's for the brand new beginner. And then as you can see here, this is guitar 2. So that's like the follow-on book after you've completed guitar 1. And then again, like I said, these are covering sight readings. So after that, we're on to our last topic, which is prepared pieces and performance. And I just wanted to highlight one of my friend's channels, White Russian Music 1. His name is Alex, and I served with him. He's a Marine guitarist, Marine musician. He plays all kinds of instruments. And he is one of those hidden gems that you're going to find on YouTube even easier, hopefully now that I'm telling you about him. But please check out his channel, check out some of the songs he's recorded, and subscribe to him. Give him some likes and shares and all that. I've done a recording on Maestropia's channel of Amazing Grace. Here's one of him doing it on the bass. He is an amazing musician and one of my favorite guitar players in the world, especially that I've been able to play with and have a blast with over the years. So please check out his channel. You won't regret it. And here's another example of prepared pieces. You could pick something that he's done possibly, and if you liked it, then the next step is to just maybe use a combination of his video or other videos and work it up little by little until you can get to the point where it's a completed song. So that's kind of a hopefully quick rundown of this full circle musician strategy that I wanted to explain to you, and you're trying to figure out how can I work on my instrument at home. This is a really good method to do that. And like I said, you don't necessarily have to do all of them, but if you do, it's going to greatly increase not just your understanding, but obviously it's going to make you a better performer as well. So that's going to be it for this video. Please like and subscribe and share as always, and I appreciate your support very much. I'm always looking for ideas for new videos too. So if there's something specific that you'd really like help with, please comment and let me know, and I will get back to you about that in the near future. All right, thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.